There's a moment almost every growing business owner hits. The marketing's working well enough that you don't have to keep doing it all yourself anymore, but not so well that you're confident spending 250 grand a year on a full-time hire to take it off your plate. So you sit in that gap wondering, should I hire someone, an agency, a freelancer, or should I just throw more AI tools at it and hope that that solves it? The truth is, there's no universal right answer here. It depends entirely on where your business is actually at right now, not where you wish it was, not what worked for someone else, where you are specifically today. And in this episode, we're walking through exactly that. No bias, no favorite, just real numbers, real trade offs, and a straightforward way to know which option actually fits your business. Welcome to the Digital Success for Business podcast. I'm Leanne Cohens, founder of Marketing Leap, and for over 13 years, because it was our birthday last Monday, I've sat on both sides of this exact question as the person building a business and needing help, and also as the help that business owners bring in when they're ready. So in this episode, we're breaking down the 4 real options that business owners have when they're ready to bring in marketing support. And that's in-house, agency, freelancer, and a fractional leadership. What each one actually costs in Australia right now, and what each one actually delivers, and where the newest option, AI agents, genuinely fits in and where it doesn't. Because here's what's happening alongside this decision. More business owners are being told AI agents can just handle it all. Content, campaigns, strategy, the lot. And while some of that is genuinely useful, a lot of it is quietly adding to what I call the content pollution index. More automated output, less strategy behind it, and businesses getting lost in their own noise. So by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which option fits where your business is right now and where AI genuinely helps versus where it's just adding to the pile. So let's get into it. Let's start with the option most business owners think of first, which is hiring someone. In Australia right now, a full-time marketing manager typically costs between 110 to 145,000 a year, and especially once you include superannuation and ongoing costs. Go up to a full CMO level and you are looking at 250 to 350,000. Ramp up time, recruitment, and workplace costs are factored in. And that ramp up time matters more than most people expect. A senior marketing hire typically takes 3 to 6 months to fully understand your business, audit what's working, and start delivering real strategic value, which means for a solid chunk of that first year, you're paying a full salary for partial output. And here's what you get in return. Someone who's embedded in your business full time, deep product knowledge, full attention on your priorities, and not split across other clients. So for a business with consistent revenue and clear enough workload to justify a full-time role, that's genuinely valuable. But here's where it falls short. One person rarely covers every skill that your marketing needs. Strategy, content, SEO, ads, design, automation. You'll likely still need freelancers or an agency to fill the gaps, which means the true cost is often higher than the salary alone suggests. In-house works best when you've already validated what's working and simply need someone to own and scale it. It works poorly when you're still figuring out your strategy because now you're paying a salary while someone else learns your business from scratch. Agency retainers in Australia vary enormously depending on the scope and who's behind them. At the smaller end, you'll see agencies from around 1,000 to 2,000 a month for a full focused scope. Full multi-channel agencies handling strategy, content, design, and ads together typically sit between 2 and 5,000 a month for most small to medium businesses, climbing higher for more complex accounts. And this is exactly the model at Marketing Leap. Clients get senior strategic thinking backed by a team executing across channels without carrying a single salary, superannuation payment, or recruitment fee. And here's the trade-off with agencies generally. Most have a house specialty. Land with a paid ads agency, and paid ads become the answer to most of your problems. And that's not dishonesty, that's just how specialization works. And that's worth knowing before you sign anything. So, this is actually where 30 years across multiple industries changes the picture entirely. I've built and run businesses through the Yellow Pages era, the social media era, and now the AI era, across retail, import, and wholesale, in industries such as gyms, beauty, travel, home and garden, the pet industry, and even online curtains and blinds before the last 13 years of marketing. I've sat on the other side of the desk as the business owner making these exact decisions, not just as the agency offering the service, which means at Marketing Leap, the recommendation isn't shaped by one channel that we just happen to specialize in. It's shaped by what I've genuinely see work and fail across 3 completely different marketing eras and multiple industries that most agencies have never operated inside of. And then this is backed by a team of specialists across content, design, SEO, and paid media, all led by someone who understands the whole business picture, not just one channel of it. And that's the difference between an agency selling you their specialty and a strategic partner helping you figure out what your business actually needs. Agencies work best when you already have some clarity on your direction and need skilled execution behind it. They work poorly when your strategy itself is still unclear because you end up paying for activity without a strong enough compass guiding it. Then you have the freelancer option. Freelancer pricing varies hugely depending on where they're based and what they specialize in. A skilled Australian freelancer typically sits between 50 to 150 an hour. Offshore virtual assistants, increasingly common for repetitive and execution-heavy tasks, run close to between 8 to 15 Australian dollars an hour. And that gap matters. Offshore VAs are excellent value for clearly defined work or process-driven work such as scheduling, data entry, basic content formatting. But they're not a substitute for strategic thinking, and treating them as one is where a lot of businesses lose direction. Where freelancers become expensive in ways that don't show up on the invoice is coordination. You become the project manager, briefing, reviewing, chasing, coordinating multiple people if you need more than one skill set. And that hidden time cost is real, even when the hourly rate looks appealing. So freelancers work best for a clearly scoped one-off project. They work poorly as a long-term strategic partner because nobody's holding the whole picture together except for you. Now, the option that most business owners haven't fully considered because it's newer to the small business market and often misunderstood, and that is fractional CMO leadership. Now, that typically runs between $2,000 to $7,500 a month for most small business entities, scaling up depending on scope and hours involved. And if you compare that to a $250,000 or more for a full-time CMO, then the value proposition becomes obvious very fast. But here's what actually matters more than the price difference. It's the role itself. A marketing manager executes. They run campaigns, coordinate content, pull reports, whereas a fractional CMO owns the strategy. They decide which channels are worth the investment, how you're positioned against your competitors, and whether the agency that you've been paying for the last 18 months is actually delivering or just billing you. Without that strategic layer, here's what tends to happen. You, as the business owner, end up making every marketing decision by default, usually squeezed in between everything else that's needed to run a business. The agency does whatever it wants because no one's really watching, and the strategy becomes whatever the most recent ad platform rep recommended. A fractional CMO closes that gap. Senior level thinking embedded in your business without the overhead of a full-time salary. And a good one builds systems that outlast the engagement itself. They create playbooks, reporting structures, clear frameworks for choosing who executes what. So if hours ever reduce, the marketing function doesn't collapse with it. And this model suits established businesses who have moved past the DIY stage. You've got some traction, some teams, some complexity. What's missing is simply the senior strategic view that's holding it all together. And now to the big white elephant in the room that's changing the way everybody does business, whether you like it or not. And that's AI agents. Not the chatbot that answers a simple question on your website. Actual autonomous systems that can plan, execute, and adjust marketing tasks with very little human input. Content creation, campaign management, even budget decisions, increasingly running with minimal oversight. And that adoption is moving fast. The number of marketing teams running at least one AI agent in production has more than doubled in the last 6 months alone. The average small business now uses a median of 5 different AI tools, and most owners are planning to add more before the year's out. So, where does this actually fit into the conversation that we've been having? Honestly, AI agents are becoming a genuine fifth option, sitting somewhere between DIY and hiring. And they can absolutely save time on repetitive, well-defined tasks. Tasks like scheduling, basic reporting, first response to customer queries, formatting and structuring content that's already been thought through. But here's where it goes wrong, and I'm seeing this constantly right now. Business owners are being told that AI agents can just handle the whole thing: strategy, content, campaigns, decisions, all of it. And when that promise gets taken at face value, without a human holding the strategic view, you get exactly what I call the content pollution index, which is more content going out faster than ever and almost none of it grounded in a clear strategy. It's not written for anyone specific. It doesn't sound like the business behind it. And it simply adds to an already overwhelming pile of automated noise that your ideal client has learned to scroll straight past. AI agents are a tool, a genuinely useful one, when they sit inside a clear strategy someone senior is actually holding. They're not a replacement for that strategy. They can't decide who your business is for, what makes you different, or what channel actually deserves your investment this quarter. Which is exactly why the businesses winning with AI right now are not the ones using the most of it. They're the ones using it with the clearest human strategy behind it. So how do you actually decide? Forget which option sounds most impressive. Ask yourself one question honestly. Where is your business right now? If you're still figuring out your offer, your audience, and your message, none of these options will fix that. Not a hire, not an agency, not AI. That's strategy work, and it needs to happen first. Start with the Digital Marketing Strategy Starter Workbook, which is on the website for free, or the Complete Strategy Workbook for $47, and get that foundation clear before you spend a cent on hiring anyone. And if your strategy is reasonably clear, but you need consistent hands to execute it, a strong freelancer or focused agency retainer covers that gap well. If you've got real traction, a growing team, and marketing decisions are landing on your desk by default because no one senior is actually owning them, then that's where a fractional CMO earns its cost. And if you're already established with a marketing function in place, but repetitive, well-defined tasks are just simply eating the time that should go towards strategy, that's where the AI agents genuinely help, inside a system that someone is still actively steering. So as you can see, there's no universally right answer here. The only right answer is where your business is actually today. Similar to a previous episode where I discussed which social media platforms you should be on. And P.S., the answer was wherever your ideal client spends their time. So if you're ready to build your full business strategy and roadmap, that's exactly the conversation that we start with in the VIP Strategy Intensive. 4 focused hours where we look honestly at what stage your business is in, the gaps in your marketing strategy and your business, and build a plan that fits your business, not a generic template. So stop guessing and start growing. Head to Marketing Leap, and if you're further along, already carrying real complexity and ready for senior strategic leadership without the full-time overheads, that's exactly what our fractional CMO service is built for. Reach out and let's have a chat. and we'll see if we're a fit. Now, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the next episode, we're looking at something that most business owners set up once, years ago, and never touched again. And that's your Google business profile. It might be the single most underused marketing asset that you already have. And with AI search now pulling directly from it to decide who gets recommended, an outdated or half-finished profile could be costing you the exact clients searching for you right now. That one's worth the 5 minutes it'll take you to check your own profile before you even listen. And if today's episode gave you clarity on your own next step when it comes to your marketing, share it with a business owner who's stuck in the same decision. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Success for Business podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on YouTube for even more tips.